Yeah. Well, first of all, I think Deleuze's book is political and historical in that it doesn't try to. Well, there's a whole section on modern political cinema and the difference between the political cinema of his day, the work of Wilbur Rocha or Strobes, with the political cinema of the 1920s, of the Soviet filmmakers, to whom he devotes quite a bit of attention. I think quite a bit more than was fashionable at the time that his book was written. So in that sense, it's a kind of defense of political cinema. Also, when I was making this film, I was conscious of Godard's Histoire du Cinéma and of the various interpretations that have been offered of that film, which are actually quite a few now. So in a way, part of it is presenting this history not from a European perspective, but from a perspective of someone living on the east shore of the Pacific Ocean, in which I think events in the other shore of the ocean loom larger than they do for Europeans. As events in Japan and in Korea. So thus, instead of showing kind of a European disaster or European war crimes, I showed or alluded to the bombing of Hiroshima and the bombing of Korea by the U.S. in the Korean War of 1950 to 53. Of course, there is a section devoted to Hitler. So instead of what you might expect, I show the siege of Leningrad and the bombing of Stalingrad. So that's really it. It has to do with kind of expressing not just my perspective, but I think the perspective of people who do live along the within or along the shore of the Pacific Ocean, which is well, I don't know. I don't like to call it the East. I prefer calling it the West because it's west of where I live anyway. If I'm going to take a plane to Tokyo, I'm not going to fly east, right? I don't know, maybe people in Europe would, I guess. So they have a different perspective. But, there's east-west are relative terms, so they're not very useful for talking about civilizations. I mean, in a way, I think I feel more in common with people in Japan or Korea than I do with New Yorkers, who are, to me, a kind of really strange, exotic breed of human beings.